What is going on, everybody? It is me again. It's HorrorFan34, and welcome to another video. And welcome to another review for the 31 Days of Horror Challenge in October. Now we are getting on to another review for this marathon. I believe we're on day 19 now, which is crazy. Going back to the 80s here, going back to, I think, 1985 for this one. And I figured I can't believe I haven't talked about this one yet either when it comes to like reviewing horror films and things of that nature. And I would personally say I rewatched this again and I forgot how good this movie is. I really did. And of course it's based on a Stephen King adaptation. And of course that review is going to be on Silver Bullet. Yep, Stephen King's Silver Bullet. Like I said, it came out in 1985. Directed by Daniel Attias or something like that. Sadly, the guy never directed again, movie-wise. Directed a lot of TV shows, and that was it. But that's a shame because I think he did an excellent job directing this film. Now, the first thing, getting onto the story is about you have this young boy in a wheelchair played by Corey Haim, and he has a sister, Jane, I believe, played by Megan. Oh, I forgot her name, Megan Burrows or something like that. And basically, there's this werewolf. There's a supposed maniac going around town killing people, and then you find out it's this werewolf. And then they gotta try to survive this werewolf thing and try to stop it. And, the kid's Uncle Red, played by Gary Busey, helps them out. And that's pretty much the entire premise of the film. Now, going on to the first thing I love about this film, first off, is the cast. Corey Haim as the lead kid, as Marty. I really do miss Corey Haim a lot. I sincerely miss Corey Haim. I know Corey Haim had a lot of problems in life with drug addiction, and which is sad. And he seemed like a guy that just had a good heart to him, but sadly the drug addiction, But I think he did an excellent job in this film, Corey Haim. I thought he was terrific in this. Gary Busey as Uncle Red. I like the little back and forth that the bonding moments between him and Corey Haim together. And I'm a big fan of Gary Busey as well, whether it be Lethal Weapon, Under Siege, Eye of the Tiger, Hider in the House. It's a good performance that he does in there too. Predator 2. I always really sincerely enjoy Gary Busey as an actor. And excuse me, I need a drink. Now, the one thing with this film, too, when I was rewatching this film again, I forgot how bloody this film is, because it is an R-rated movie, don't get me wrong. R-rated right there, but I couldn't believe how gory this movie was, especially in the very beginning of the film, which was actually one of my favorite parts of the movie, is that you have this guy, working on the railroad, and the werewolf comes up and beheads the guy. And the guy in the beginning, I'm like, that guy looks familiar. That's James Gammon, Lou Brown, the coach from Major League. I'm like, oh shit, that's the coach from Major League at the very beginning of the movie. And once again, the music is done by Jay Chataway. Did a great job on the musical score. I would probably say my favorite score Jay Chataway did, because I love the synth music in this. It's real 80s, and I love the way the music's done in this film. And some other people in here, the supporting cast is really good. You have not only just Gary Busey and Corey Haim and James Gammon at the very beginning, but you also have the sheriff in the town, played by Terry O'Quinn. Yes, the stepfather himself. And he was the bad guy in Young Guns. No, I'm sorry, no. Jack Palance was the bad guy in Young Guns. He played another role in Young Guns, Terry O'Quinn. He was not the bad guy, but he was the bad guy in The Stepfather, because he is the stepfather. So he's in here as the sheriff. You have this reverend played by Everett McGill, who went on to be in People Under the Stairs as Daddy. He's in here as the Reverend. And also, too, a pretty cool character actor in here. Lawrence Tierney. If you remember Reservoir Dogs, you're Mr. Pink, you're Mr. Brown. Because you are Mr. Pink, because I said so. You're Mr. Pink. Like that old guy in Reservoir Dogs, he's in here as a bartender. So it was pretty cool to see all these supporting cast members in this. Now, the one thing with this film, though, I will say, the effects on the werewolf itself is all right. I mean, I wouldn't say that when I think of like more better special effects on werewolf films, I look at things like, you know, An American Werewolf in London, or I look at The Howling, for example. I think those werewolves are much better looking than this one. But it's far from awful, though. But I wouldn't say the effects are up to snuff with films like American Werewolf in London. I think that has a much better transformation scene. But other than that, though, I mean, I sincerely really enjoy this movie. I really like this. It's a simple story, but done very effectively. I really like this motorized wheelchair that Corey Haim has. It's a pretty cool motorized looking wheelchair called the Silver Bullet. And like I said, you know, Corey Haim just brings a charm to this character. I love Corey Haim in this movie. And of course, love Corey Haim in a lot of other stuff like Lost Boys and Watchers, which I reviewed for the marathon. I really like Gary Busey as the uncle. And it was cool to see other people in here like Everett McGill, Terry O'Quinn, Lawrence Tierney, James Gammon at the very beginning. And surprisingly, very, very gory. Very gory effects. Now, those effects are really, really well done by Carlo Rambaldi, who worked on things like Alien and E.T. Just the werewolf effects are just a little but the gore effects, though, are extremely well done, like the beheading scene in the very beginning with James Gammon, and like other people get killed, like you get like these claws like deep into their skin and claw marks, and it's a very graphic movie, I will say. I completely forgot how bloody this movie was. I didn't really expect it to be that gory of a movie, but it kind of did surprise me. But, I mean, if you want to see one of the more underrated werewolf movies, I would highly recommend you check this out. I would highly recommend you check this out if you haven't seen it yet. So that's pretty much it for my review for Silver Bullet. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.